It's been quite a while, and I just wanted to do this Ask Me Anything video. I asked for questions on my Discord a while back, and this was when I just hit 100 subscribers. I'm a little over 100 now, so I'm a bit late for this video, but I've been busy with other things, but nevertheless, I'm finally here and can make this video, so sorry it took so long. Before anything though, I do want to say that my last album, Doppelganger, as of making this video, has reached just over 700 plays on Spotify. I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support, and just everyone sharing this around and letting it get streamed. It means a lot to me that anyone likes my music, and some people even sing along to it or reference it, and it just, every time that happens around me, my heart just flutters. I can't handle that. So I'm really happy that this album, reaches the hearts of, people that listen to it, and it just means a lot. I've always wanted to make music that connects with people, and I only hope that it does the same thing. When I was young, music meant a lot to me, and it always spoke words that I couldn't. And if Doppelganger or any of my other songs have done that for you, it's great. But anywho, sentiment out of the way, let's get on to the Ask Me Anything. So, let's see what questions y'all came up with. What instrument would you like to add to your collection next that you don't already own and have no idea how to play currently? I've always wanted to play a harp, and I don't own a harp. When I performed a piece, a collection of pieces, a song cycle called Calling All Dawns, that was the first time I was near a harp. It was with my college chorus, in chamber choir, and I saw this beautiful standing harp, and I got to see how it was played, and I learned stuff about it, and I've always wanted to play it ever since I saw that. So I'd say a harp, yeah. Next question. Who are my top 5 artists / bands I would love to collab with? Oh man. It would never happen just because their names are so huge, but I would have to go with the bands that inspire me most, that I just fell in love with the first time I heard them. It would be Icarus the Owl, Alasana, Aiden, Copeland, and Hail the Sun. Those 5 I would absolutely love to collaborate with. It would never happen because their names are just so huge, but yeah, if I ever had the chance to work with any of them, I'd probably lose my mind. Alright, next question. What inspires me to make my music? It depends on what angle you're asking me that question from, but I'll just assume, how do I get in the mood of writing music? So I actually write music when I'm in very high times of stress or whenever I reach a traumatizing point in my life. And it's not because I want to write about pain, but it's more because at those peak moments of emotional distress or just like any high peak of any emotion, whether it be happiness, sadness, anger, anything, things just kind of flow out naturally. And I don't really have to think about, you know, like let's say this is the message I want to send. How do I get there? Because then it turns into work. But instead, if I think about just what emotion am I feeling, what words come out of that emotion, and then the song kind of writes itself. My writing process for music has always been something will strike me at a random part of the day, whether it be a lyrical phrase, a word, an emotion, a sound, something's gonna stick. And I'll just I'll let it soak for a few days, and a song will slowly emerge out of it. But I let it happen naturally. I never really sit down for hours on a single idea and just keep bashing my head against the wall until it becomes something, because that doesn't feel organic to me. So it really just comes naturally. And I find that when it does come naturally, that's the songs I grow really attached to and I really work on. So yeah. Next question. Well, these aren't questions, these are just comments, in which I have no comment. Next. What got you interested in using a VR model rather than doing live video? Which of the two do you prefer more and why? So when I started YouTube years ago, and I mean years ago, I wasn't active for all those years, but I tried. Back then, I only had access to live video, and it never bothered me. I still have videos of myself performing live, just like an acoustic guitar in my voice, and a static camera just pointed at me. That was okay, but I personally don't like how I look most of the time. I find myself very ugly, but that's just me. The VR model, when I discovered how to work with this and become a VTuber, it definitely helped quell some anxieties about how I looked, and I was no longer focused on how I looked in the camera, but rather other things, like how was I holding myself, how do I sound, am I writing the script how I want it to. I'm just focused on other aspects of it, rather than worrying about oh, is my hair in my face, or is this a good angle for the camera, is the lighting okay. All of those caveats of live video are just no longer there with VTubing. Which do I prefer? I don't know. Both have their pros and cons. With live video, you can really connect with the audience via a real face, and you can really showcase skill and talent through live video, because you can actually see that person performing, and there's always the emotional connection of seeing their facial expressions and their gestures, and you lose a lot of that via VTubing, unless you're a very emotive avatar, but I'm personally not that emotive. I just turn my head left and right. Um, I think it depends situationally whether I want to use live video or not. Most of the time, I haven't because I've been addicted to the VTubing stuff. But if ever I really wanted to establish an emotional connection, I could do live video. I could also merge the two and say I have the real me play instruments in Windows and then have Nora perform the vocals. That might be a fun video idea one day. So yeah, situational. Next. What's my favorite moment as an assistant director / teacher? So for those who don't know, I work as a music teacher who teaches alongside co-teachers in an internship, and we teach kids between kindergarten to 3rd grade. We teach them music theory, recorder, piano, all that stuff. And alongside that, I also have private students who can learn stuff from me via 1-hour lessons. So what are some of my favorite moments? I'll just speak from when I'm working with the kids. I'd say I personally don't work with kids that often, and I'm not around kids that often. So whenever I'm working with them, I'm always surprised by a few things. One time I had a certain student teach their table how to do certain things. Like if they were struggling with some of the music, instead of having me or the other teacher come up and help, I would actually spot them teaching each other and just peer reviewing each other, and I thought that's super awesome. Other things that I like that surprise me is when they grasp musical concepts that I feel is more like a middle school, high school, college level. Words. It's when they grasp concepts that are more advanced than I think they can handle. I think those are some of my favorite moments because it shocks me. It just puts me in awe that wow, these kids are a lot smarter than I perceive them to be. And, it opens my brain to just how smart the younglings can get. And, you should never underestimate kids. They are sponges for knowledge. They can really grasp things if you explain it correctly and in a good way. So yeah, those are definitely some of my favorite moments. Next. What do I like about Avali's? What's my dream goal in life? What's the most expensive instrument I own? What are some of my favorite games? What I like about Avali's, and I might get some of the information wrong because I didn't look too much into the lore, but I definitely like how they look. I think they look really unique, and of course I've personalized mine to look more like myself, but I love the way they look. I love that they have 4 ears and are very auditory based, so they're very sensitive to sound, and me being a musician, I'm very sensitive to sound, and I feel that just has a connection for myself. I think I read in the lore that they're very not only tribal in aesthetic, but when it comes to activities, the oral arts are very much a thing. So I imagine a lot of musical games and a lot of auditory activities are very present in Avali culture. So I resonate with that very well. I think the last thing too is that because they're ammonia-based creatures, they overheat very easily. Like basically, if they were to exist on Earth, they would perish and burn. So I think me enjoying cold temperatures and just loving winter and generally being comfortable at like 65 degrees or less, I kind of resonate with that side as well. Not to their degree, but you know, to an under exaggerated degree. I do like the cold, and they like the cold. What's my dream goal in life? I don't really know. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know what my dream goal in life is. I know I want it to be music related, because that's just a passion I have that I can't let go of. I don't know if I want to teach music. I don't know if I want to write songs. I don't know if I want to produce music. I don't know if I want to become a studio engineer to help other musicians get their stuff recorded and out to the world. I don't know if I just want to send my message into the world via my songs and just have my lyrics live longer than I ever could. I don't know. I don't generally think of the future just because it scares me. But I just know that I want it to be music related. What's the most expensive instrument I own? I believe it would have to be my 7-string Ibanez guitar. That's probably the most expensive one I have. I believe it's around 600 or 700 USD. I think that's probably my most expensive instrument. It's between that and my keyboard, which is a Roland FP30X. This was also around 600 or 700. But luckily I got it during sales and discounts, so I didn't pay that much. And finally, favorite games. There's current favorite games and there's all-time favorite games. Current favorite games are definitely Destiny 2 and Monster Hunter, specifically Monster Hunter Rise. All-time favorite games, I did enjoy the Legend of Spyro series. I enjoyed the Metroid series. Devil May Cry was definitely part of my childhood. Hack and slash games. Raiden, which was a side-scrolling shooter. I was a fan of Call of Duty growing up, just putting that out there. Not for the PvP aspect, but you know, for campaign, I loved playing Call of Duty. And rhythm games, of course, always have a place in my heart. I played Guitar Hero 2 and 3, and World Tour and 5. I also played Rock Band. Yeah, lots of favorite games. Just depends on my mood. Next. I believe this is the last one too. What got you interested in the furry fandom, and any pieces of media, video games, TV shows, movies that really helped with that? Yeah, so... This is a very long answer, but I'll try to keep it short. When I was a lot younger, I knew about the furry fandom, but for a long time I didn't know if I was part of it. And part of that confusion was because I also knew what otherkin was, and Therian, I believe is the word. And it took me a long time to understand the separation between the two, which I believe is that the furry fandom is full of people that are interested and enjoy anthropomorphic animals. So, Disney um, is a big reason of it. Whether we think of like Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny or all of those things where it's animals portraying human characteristics, whether they're sentient, whether they're dancing, talking, eating, just having like human interactions or human-like interactions. That's the furry fandom. And then other kin and Therianism, it's where you believe that spiritually you're connected with animals. And I think it took me a long time to make that separation, but eventually I came to understand that, I'm on the furry fandom side. Any pieces of media? I would say that probably Spyro the Dragon probably was a big helper in that. If I had to pick like any furry character, I think it would probably have to be Spyro. Yeah. And yay, that's all the questions. Cool. Well, I hope this was a enjoyable and enlightening experience. It was my first Ask Me Anything, so if anything just seemed like off the top of my head or very scatterbrained, that's why. I didn't really go into this with answers prepared, but I don't know, I think I kind of like the rawness that it shows when answering questions. So yeah, and by the way, if you haven't checked out Doppelganger yet, my latest album, it's been playing in the background. So if any of what you heard interests you, go ahead and check it out. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks for sticking around for this Ask Me Anything, and I'll be sure to ask for another one in the future. This was really fun. Hope you all have a great day/night. Take care.